welcome to the evening news for today, Friday, October 29, 2021. I am Timothy Jaikaran. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Good evening, welcome to the evening news for today, Friday, October 29, 2021. I am Timothy Jaikaran. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Draft electoral reform legislation to be circulated next week. Joint Guyana-Barbados tourist destination being discussed. High transportation costs stymieing services, GMSA president. Dentist at Fort Wellington Hospital files $25 million lawsuit against ERC. And prison officer who was shot to eye during 2002 jailbreak dies. Now for the news in detail. President Dr. Irfan Ali has revealed that his government is moving apace to reform laws pertaining to national elections, noting that drafting legislation could be circulated among stakeholders as early as next week. Here is Davina Samaru with our lead story tonight.
During a press conference today, President Dr. Irfan Ali was asked about the progress being made towards electoral reform.
Only yesterday, I urged the Attorney General, and what we're working on is to have this the draft legislation circulated sometime next week among all the stakeholders. We have to have an efficient time frame on this. I've also asked him that circulation be done sometime next week, and that 6 weeks be given for the review and for comments on the draft legislation. So that will be done next week, and 6 weeks for the review, so that we can expeditiously move forward with this.
Vice President Bar Jagdeo had previously explained that once completed, the draft amendments would be sent to the various political parties, including the Partnership for National Unity Alliance for Change opposition, civil society bodies, the Guyana Elections Commission, and the international community for review. The draft legislation will also be available to the public to give their input before being finalized and presented in the National Assembly, where again they will be debated by both the government and parliamentary oppositions. The need for both electoral and constitutional reforms was underscored following last year's March 2nd general and regional elections, which led to a 5-month impasse before the Dr. Irfan Ali-led PPPC government finally took office on August 2nd, 2020. According to reports, there were concerted efforts by the former governing APNU AFC administration and some GCOM officials to undermine democracy after elections were held. It was previously reported that the Representation of the People Act, which contains laws specific to the conduct of elections and election-related issues in Guyana, is being ironed out to remove ambiguous provisions and include penalties for persons attempting to carry out electoral fraud. Reporting for the evening news, Davina Samaru.
With the governments of Guyana and Barbados working to forge stronger bilateral relations, the two nations have also discussed the possibility of marketing Guyana-Barbados as a joint tourist destination. Vanu Manikchan has the details.
Jointly marketing Guyana and Barbados as a tourist destination is one of the outcomes from recent discussions between President Dr. Irfan Ali and Prime Minister Mia Mottley earlier this month. During a press conference earlier today, President Ali revealed that he and the Barbadian head of state agreed on pursuing collaborations to boost each other's tourism sector.
Both Prime Minister Mottley and I that we'll exchange 45 minutes of airtime for the promotion of Barbados in Guyana and for the promotion of Guyana in Barbados. In addition to this, we agreed on working out the mechanism for the twinning of our tourism product, for the joint marketing of our tourism product, and to promote Guyana and Barbados as a common destination.
Additionally, Barbados has agreed to help Guyana with boosting its hospitality capacity by training 6,000 persons.
You know, Barbados has an established world-class hospitality program, and they're going to support us in the training of 6,000 Guyanese who will function in the hospitality sector. The program will be redesigned to ensure that all the Guyanese benefit, and I'm sure there will be some exchange. Technology has make it very much simpler for us to achieve this. So, so it will be using distance learning, it will be online training, and maybe some amount of exchange program.
Another major outcome of those discussions is the creation of a market hub for Guyana's gold in Barbados.
In some Caribbean countries, you would know that some cruise liners go to some islands specifically because of the creation of a gold market hub. So that is what we are trying to create. Barbados is a major cruise destination, and we're working on the possibility of adding value to Guyana gold and creating a gold market hub concept in Barbados.
Meanwhile, during Thursday's press conference, President Ali also gave a briefing on his recent visits to major events such as the United Nations General Assembly in September and more recently at the World Expo 2020 in Dubai, as well as his bilateral engagements with world leaders. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manikchand.
The Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association on Friday labeled the extortionate transportation costs in the services sector, coupled with the existing clamor on the high energy expense, as a serious concern for local operators. Rupasina Ryan reports.
President of the GMSA, Rafiq Khan, disclosed during their annual luncheon on Friday that in some instances, local operators are spending over 50% of total cost for transport. Coupled with other factors, production cost is then inflated.
While energy cost quite often takes precedence, the burdensome logistics costs of transportation to transport our primary production, especially in agro, forestry, and mining, must also be addressed. We are extremely blessed as a nation with an abundance of natural resources, but accessibility to these resources are sometimes limited. On the other hand, where hinterland and road exist, the prohibitive cost of maintenance contributes to higher production cost. The small operators quite often lose their competitiveness because of the limited volume of raw materials and produce which they are able to transport. This sometimes leads to overladen trucks, which not only cause unnecessary breakages to equipment, but destroy fair weather roads.
Khan pointed towards sustainability and creating infrastructure that will withstand current challenges.
As we aim towards sustainable development in the wake of climate change, it is imperative that we build to last and we prioritize in areas that positively affect competitiveness. Better built or built to last is a complement to sustainable development. We are facing changing weather patterns that destroy bridges and roads. Repairs to damaged infrastructure can be avoided if properly built from the start.
Last year, government removed VAT from ATVs for mining, forestry, agriculture, and manufacturing in the emergency budget. For 2021, in order to reduce the cost of transportation for hinterland communities, it also removed the duty on ATVs for use in the hinterland region. Addressing the issue of hinterland travel, Minister within the Public Works Ministry Deodat Indar shared that they have commenced engagements with local operators to determine why prices are still inflated.
I met with the Aircraft Owners Association a month ago, and they had to provide to me and the Minister Unish why the prices haven't gone down. They had to provide to us the data that we remove VAT on travel, but yet persons are complaining the prices have not went down. They have submitted something to us. We have to sit down and go through all of the numbers. Because if you reduce and remove VAT from a previous regime, you're supposed to get reduction.
He also spoke on government's plans for the energy sector.
What we have now is fossil fuel generated power. Most of the energy are Wärtsilä engines. Most of the energy is HFO. So HFO is we call heavy fuel oil. Some of them are light fuel oil, but heavy fuel oil burns. It's expensive and it burns, and a lot of greenhouse gases is emitted from that. So we are transitioning away from those things. So between 2022 to 2027 and thereafter, the next 5 years, we have to transition away from these to more renewable fuel and renewable energy sources. So the solar element now, we're going to put in solar grid-tie solutions in Linden, in Essequibo, in Berbice. Those are grid-tie. Then in Legwan, Wakenham, Bartica, Madia, Letem, and some other areas, Mabaroom and so on, they will have grid-tie solutions.
Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
A dentist attached to the Fort Wellington Hospital has sued the Ethnic Relations Commission, which has filed legal proceedings against him for allegedly failing to perform a tooth extraction on a child based on her ethnicity. According to the dentist, the charge against him is irrational, unreasonable, and ill-conceived. Our Berbice correspondent, Andrew Carmichael, has the details.
On January 13, 2021, Dr. Surendra Paul Rampasad appeared at the Fort Wellington Magistrates Court to answer a charge brought by the Ethnic Relations Commission, ERC, which alleged that on September 18, 2020, while being employed as a dental surgeon attached to the dental department at the Fort Wellington Hospital, he refused to perform a tooth extraction on a child on the ground of her ethnicity. That matter is still before Magistrate PTU and was last called on Friday. Even with this legal proceeding still ongoing, the dentist has since slapped the ERC with a $25 million lawsuit. Magistrate PTU, the Attorney General, and the Director of Public Prosecutions are also listed as respondents. In the writ filed at the Berbice High Court, Dr. Rampasad is seeking to have the High Court declare that the charges instituted by the ERC are exceptional and is subject to judicial review. He is also seeking an order squashing the charge and permanently halting the prosecution by the ERC. The order is also seeking to have the High Court direct the ERC to pay an amount in excess of $25 million to Dr. Rampasad for aggravated damages and diminished reputation. The court document also explained that after he was charged, the dentist has made 6 court appearances. During that period, the ERC reported to the magistrate that it no longer had a commission and a prosecutor. A motion was then moved for the dismissal of the charge for want of prosecution, but the magistrate disallowed the motion. In fact, the writ noted that there were 4 such motions made to the court and all were disallowed by the magistrate. Meanwhile, when the matter was called today at the magistrate's court, it was further deferred until November 11. The hearing at the High Court is set for November 5th. Dr. Rampasad is a dental surgeon duly admitted to practice dentistry by the Dental Council of Guyana since 2010. He has worked as a dental surgeon at the Maikoni and Fort Wellington hospitals for over 11 years. Dr. Rampasad is being represented by attorney-at-law Horatio Edmondson. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Escaped prisoner Capildio Gangadin was this morning recaptured by police 1 day after he escaped from the Lusignan prison, East Coast Demerara. The double murder accused was recaptured sometime around 9:30 a.m. in the vicinity of Onderneming, West Bank, Demerara. The Guyana Prison Service said the escapee was in a minibus proceeding to Parika, East Bank, Essequibo. However, acting on information, police on the west coast of Demerara immediately launched a roadblock operation at Onderneming Public Road, resulting in the capture of Gangadin. Gangadin had reportedly confessed to the murder of 20-year-old Chris Prasad at Strathspey, East Coast, Demerara, and was about a week ago remanded to prison. Gangadin was also charged with the 2020 murder of fisherman Mukesh Mangra. We now tell you that 58-year-old Roxanne Winfield, a former prison officer who became bedridden after she was shot to the eye during the 2002 Camp Street jailbreak, has died. Winfield died on Thursday at the Infectious Disease Hospital at Lilliandale, Greater Georgetown. According to a statement from the Guyana Prison Service, the woman was suffering from severe lung and kidney complications. Winfield had 29 years of service before she was shot in her right eye when 5 notorious high-profile criminals made a bloody escape from Camp Street Jail on February the 23rd, 2002. At the time of the incident, Winfield was performing gate duty at the Camp Street prison. Thereafter, Winfield was declared medically unfit to function as a prison officer and was being cared for at home. The 2002 jailbreak saw the escape of Troy Dick, Sean Brown, Andrew Douglas, Mark Fraser, and Dale Moore, all of whom are dead now. Coming up, indigenous girls to be trained to pilot drones under GMCS initiative, and young adults not returning for second dose of vaccine. Dr. Anthony.
Lucozade Energy! Lucozade has 2 delicious new flavors, but only one can stay. Team Citrus Chill. Team Berry Crush. Vote now on Instagram or Facebook by uploading a video or picture of your favorite flavor and tagging Lucozade. It's up to you which flavor stays. There are over 500 prizes to be won. See press and social media for details. Lucozade. Taste the energy.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store, located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site.
Your child needs nutrients every day. And Enfagrow contains recommended levels of DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. Enfagrow has nutrients which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with Enfagrow.
It happens. Your septic tank is full. All the waste from your toilet goes into your septic tank through the sewage line. When your tank is full, the 2 most common indicators are an overflowing tank and an overflowing toilet. It is recommended that Sevon's Waste Management empty your septic tank every 2 to 3 years to avoid any embarrassment. And before you can say, shh, it's gone. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455 or 218-1156.
Fully charged up with turbo. Black Buckle Energy, yo, turbo. Lift up the party with turbo. Uptown, downtown, taste sweet, real smooth. Last long, power down with turbo.
Over $2 million in cash and prizes to be won in the Turbo Energy Drink Charge My Ride promotion. Grand prize of a Honda CBR 250. Just purchase 2 bottles of Turbo Energy Drink and visit the Turbo Instagram at Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
Fully charged up with
Win with Superbet this ICC season. Place your sport or live bets on the ICC World Cup games with Superbet. Betting starts at only $200. Winnings go up to $50 million. Visit your closest Superbet agent or superbet.gy to get started. Check our social media pages for details on our ICC World Cup promotion. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 18 years and older to play. Remember to follow all COVID-19 guidelines and play responsibly.
Your #1 supermarket cost cutter has everything you need. Come down to our Sheriff Street or our Track A Farm East Bank Demerara location and shop in comfort, knowing that you're also getting the most competitive prices. We currently have specials on onions, £5 for $500 or a £50 bag for $3,500. Purple onions, 25-pound bag for $22.50. Happy macaroni 400-gram packet, 1 for $200 and 3 for $500. Just juice a 500 milliliter, 1 for $135 and get 4 for $500. Miran soybean oil 500 milliliter bottle, 1 for $275, 4 for $1,000. Aqua Pure water, 24 330 milliliter bottles, $1,100 per case. Buy 10 cases and get 1 case free, and much more. Give us a call on 231-7180 or 502-5660. You can also WhatsApp our farm branch on 686-6501 and our Sheriff Street branch on 686-7536.
Your child needs nutrients every day. And ENFAGROW contains recommended levels of DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. ENFAGROW has nutrients which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with ENFAGROW.
Welcome back, you're watching the Evening News. President Dr. Irfan Ali has defended oil and gas production activities offshore Guyana, saying that it is unfair to ask developing countries not to tap into their petroleum resources for the betterment of their people, while incumbent oil producers continue to enjoy the riches of the petroleum industry. Details in this Vanu Manikchan report.
During the launch of the renewed Low Carbon Development Strategy, LCDS 2030, on Thursday, President Dr. Irfan Ali spoke about aligning Guyana's status as an oil and gas producer while also being an active participant in the global search for climate solutions. He pointed out that Guyana is committed to the global targets in the Paris Agreement to counter the climate crisis, but in the same breath, argued that it is unfair to expect developing countries like Guyana not to explore its petroleum resources that have the potential to not only transform the country, but also enhance the lives of its people.
Basic fairness means that the oil industry and its $3.4 trillion of annual revenue should not just be used for the benefit of incumbent oil producers, particularly when those incumbents are already very wealthy. Expecting developing economies to leave their oil in the ground really means protecting the monopoly-like situation of existing producers so that they can maximize their income from oil and gas.
According to Ali, it would be absurd if the market was protected for those large oil producers alone, such as the United States, which has a per capita income that is 10 times Guyana's.
No responsible government should volunteer that its people stay poor so that richer countries can have their market protected. Putting faith in solutions that expect this to happen is irresponsible and ultimately damages the prospects of climate success.
President Ali went on to outline policies that can create a much fairer marketplace for oil and gas that are compatible with achieving the goals of the Paris Climate Agreement. On this note, the head of state reassured that Guyana will pursue strong policies to ensure that its oil and gas sector operates to international standards, including on issues such as flaring.
As a result, we introduced one of the very few taxes on flaring in the world, where beyond the commissioning period, all flaring will be taxed at $45 per ton of carbon, along with the actual gas loss. For newly licensed production, the tax on flaring will be accompanied by legal limits on the overall amount of flaring. In parallel, with advancing no flaring policy, new measures have been introduced to ensure that all waste management is the responsibility of the oil producer, in accordance with international standards from cradle to grave.
Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchan.
The Guyana Marine Conservation Society, which had commenced a training exercise for its marine scientists to learn to properly pilot drones, is now planning to extend this initiative to 6 indigenous girls who recently graduated secondary school in Region 1. Lawanda McAllister tells us more.
President of the Guyana Marine Conservation Society, Annette Arjun Martins, told the Evening News that during a recent visit to Region 1, she observed that a lot of the local women were employed in back-breaking work. Arjun Martins said seeing this sparked an idea to create more opportunities for indigenous women. As such, she said her organization will be extending a drone training exercise to 6 young women from Region 1.
So what I thought, with the young indigenous girls now in these communities that have finished secondary school in Region 1, for example, at Zone in Timbatero, they don't have a hope in hell of getting employed anytime soon. And their parents would have struggled to send them through school. Even though the schooling is free at the Mabruma dormitory, they still would have to find all the shoes and other things that cost, right? So after these kids finish secondary school and they can't get a job, I thought, let's focus on 6 girls and let's train them how to use drones.
Arjun Martins noted that this drone training initiative will also create employment opportunities.
National Agriculture Research Institute, that is responsible for managing the mangrove program, they have never had a presence in Region 1, and that is where the most intact mangrove ecosystems in Guyana are found. So what I see is these girls now armed with the drone technology and the ability to use it safely, doing flyovers of that mangrove resource and providing it to NARI, and it should be monetized. So instead of taking a whole day to make a liter of cash rip, they can fly a drone for half an hour, map the whole area, send it down to the agency that needs it, get paid for that.
Arjun Martins, who is part indigenous Guyanese, recalled a similar opportunity as a young girl, which developed her career and molded her into the person she is today.
If I wasn't given the opportunity to go to Trinidad and learn to fly an airplane and subsequently become an aviation manager, right, that was natural steps in my progression. So starting with a drone and learning to use a drone could be a start of a career beyond just drone monitoring for these young girls.
2 of the GMCS's marine scientists, after completing their training with drone, will journey to train the 6 indigenous girls who will be selected from different villages in Region 1. The aim is to begin the training within the next 3 months. Reporting for the Evening News, Lawanda McAllister.
A group of children who participated in the COP26 art competition were on Thursday awarded for their stellar work. The competition was aimed at raising climate change awareness among children, and according to the organizers, the exercise seemed like a huge success. Here is Lawanda McAllister again with the details.
The COP26 art competition is the result of collaboration between the United Kingdom and the government of Guyana with the theme, the environment and the impact of climate change. British High Commissioner Jane Miller said that the competition for children was held to bring awareness to the issue of climate change, noting that young people have an important voice and role to play to address this issue that will impact their future.
There's lots of things that all of us can be doing, but I think one of the most important ones is the one that the Ministry of Education mentioned, which is about being an advocate for change, being a change agent. In other words, I want all of you to go back and be agents of change, to tell your friends, to tell your families, to tell everybody you know how important it is that all of us protect our countries.
At the award ceremony, the British diplomat further asked the children to use their knowledge to convert others and let them understand the importance and impact of the issue to bring about behavioral change in society. She said there are several things that people can do to contribute to fixing the problem, such as recycling, avoiding using too many single-use plastics, turning off lights when not in use, among other practices.
I'm really happy that the Ministry of Education has taken this so seriously. So thank you, Ministry of Education. the way you've worked with teachers across the whole of the country, but also thank you to all the parents. I'm sure many of you were party to helping these paintings. And in doing that, what the most important thing for me is you talk to the children about climate change, about why it's so important. Ultimately, this is your future. This is your world. This is your environment.
Chief Education Officer Dr. Marcel Hudson said that the Ministry of Education is pleased to be associated with the competition, and he believes that the objectives would have been met, one of which is to foster an awareness in learners for the protection of the planet. Reporting for the Evening News, Lawanda McAllister.
An American Corner was on Thursday launched at the National Library, and it will be designated space sponsored by the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown, which will offer an array of services to the public in areas of STEM and entrepreneurship. Natifa Punch has this story.
Collaborative efforts between the National Library and the U.S. Embassy saw the opening of the American Corner, Guyana, at the National Library. The opening saw in attendance Chairman of the National Library Committee, Pitamber Prasad, Chief Librarian Emily King, Deputy Chief Education Officer Valaika Jaikasun, and U.S. Ambassador to Guyana, Sarah Ann Lynch. In giving remarks at the event, the U.S. Ambassador to Guyana announced that the corner will assist refugee learners in adapting to local culture.
So far, 2 programs have been piloted at the American Corner. The English Alive language program was taught virtually for 6 months this year, and 12 students from the Venezuelan migrant community gained the basic skills for conversational exchanges in their new Guyanese communities, so they can fully take part in their communities. Looking ahead, the corner will accommodate refugee learners at the elementary, intermediate, and advanced levels, with the aim of helping them to adapt to local culture.
In addition to this, the corner will feature a series of blended programs such as entrepreneurship, English language, STEM, and information and literacy. It will also provide resources and information on studying and participating in educational and cultural exchanges in the United States. Meanwhile, Deputy Chief Education Officer expressed gratitude on behalf of the Education Ministry and stated that the initiative will help to enhance education delivery in Guyana. For the Evening News, Natifa Punch.
Statistics released by the Ministry of Health today showed that the younger segment of the country's adult population is not returning for their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Find out more in this report.
To date, 381,013 adults, or 74.3% of that population, have received a first dose of a COVID vaccine, while 242,327, or 47.2%, are fully inoculated. Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony today gave a breakdown of the vaccination rates among the age groups, noting that the younger adult population is not returning for their second jabs.
For the 39 to 18 age group, that we have seen 69.9% coverage for first dose, and for second dose, that's at 39.1%. So here we start seeing the group of people who are not coming back for second dose. So older people generally have taken both doses, but with the younger population, most of them, they just did a first dose, but they didn't take the second dose. And if you don't get both doses, then you wouldn't have the benefits of the vaccine.
For the 40 to 59 age category, 74.7% have taken a first dose, while 52.8% are fully immunized. For persons 60 and older, the vaccination coverage is 77.5% for first dose and 63.5% for both doses. Dr. Anthony said the uptake for both doses need to be higher among the older folks.
So we need to move this for older person because they're more at risk. We need to move that first dose up to close to 80%, 85%. And of course, we want to get correspondingly the second dose to be closer to that 80, 85%. Once we are able to do that, we'll start seeing less deaths among the vaccinated population.
When it comes to hospitalization, the health minister noted that these numbers have declined, with 17 persons in the intensive care unit and some 41 hospitalized.
That is coming down from when we would have on average 38 patients in the ICU and probably about 120 patients in the hospital itself. So that's a significant difference.
Meanwhile, the vaccination coverage in regions 8 and 10 continues to be a worry for health officials, and Dr. Anthony is encouraging persons to understand the importance of getting immunized. Regarding the children population, 37.4% have received a first dose, while 27.8% are fully inoculated. Reporting for the Evening News, Davina Samaru.
5 more unvaccinated persons, as well as a partially vaccinated individual, have died from the novel coronavirus, taking the country's death toll to 910. The unvaccinated fatalities include a 63-year-old woman from Region 4, a 48-year-old man from Region 6, a 61-year-old man from Region 10, a 46-year-old woman from Region 4, and a 66-year-old man from Region 3. The partially unvaccinated fatality was a 60-year-old man from Region 4. Meanwhile, the total positive cases recorded in the country to date has risen to 35,444 after 94 new cases were detected in the last 24 hours. There are now 17 persons in the ICU, 68 in institutional isolation, 2,816 in home isolation, and 5 in institutional quarantine. Recoveries stand at 31,633. And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, October 30th at 30 minutes after midnight, and then again at 12 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, October 30th at 12 hours 35 for a period of 1.5 hours.
West Indies gets going with 3-run win, and best versus best. Bonner delighted with unbeaten 166. Details of these stories and more in the Sportscast sponsored by Macorp, coming up on the other side of the break.
At John Lewis Styles, we carry only first quality men's and women's clothing, footwear, and accessories. As authorized dealers, our items come directly from the manufacturing brands and are available in all sizes and colors. What we sell was never on display in another store. It's time you know the truth about what you buy. Come visit us on Waterloo Street. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
Your child needs nutrients every day. And ENFAGROW contains recommended levels of DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. ENFAGROW has nutrients which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with ENFAGROW.
Fully charged up with turbo. Black Buckle Energy, yo, turbo. Lift up the party with turbo. Uptown, downtown, taste sweet, real smooth, last long, power down with turbo.
Over $2 million in cash and prizes to be won in the Turbo Energy Drink Charge My Ride promotion. Grand prize of a Honda CBR 250. Just purchase 2 bottles of Turbo Energy Drink and visit the Turbo Instagram at Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
Fully charged up with turbo.
Wash Bay operators, are you looking for that unique service to elevate your business? Well, come on down to your #1 industrial store, Sylvie's, and invest in an undercarriage pressure washer tool. That's right, impress your customers by now washing under their vehicles easy and efficiently with an undercarriage tool. We have in stock different types that offer a wider range of services and can increase your revenue without having to invest in expensive ramps. Your customers are going to leave satisfied. So what are you waiting for? If you can't make it to our 31 High in Hatfield Streets location, we can deliver in and around Georgetown. Give us a call on 227-6226 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 or visit our website sylviesonline.com. Sylvie's Industrial Solution, proudly serving Guyana for over 4 decades. Massey is by your side as we continue the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. In collaboration with One Cart, you can now get your groceries delivered or you can pick up curbside. Call, email or WhatsApp your order to us. This service is available at both Providence and Turkine locations. Delivery and pickup between 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The fee is based on location. Orders must be paid in cash and placed 24 hours in advance. Special conditions apply. Remember to always protect yourself and those around you by wearing your masks. Also, don't forget to wash your hands and maintain a distance of 6 feet at all times around persons. Massey Stores. Our family serving your family.
Over the years, ISG has been providing all sectors across Guyana with quality products and outstanding customer service. Proud distributor of NP and Ultra lubricants, engineered for tropical conditions. International trucks and parts, leading the change. SEM Machinery, a Caterpillar brand. SKF bearings and mounted products. Napa batteries. Tide power generators. Discover the greatest source of power. Industrial Supply of Guyana Inc. The best opportunity to make the right choice.
Your child needs nutrients every day. And ENFAGROW contains recommended levels of DHA and iron, which supports your child's mental development. ENFAGROW has nutrients which cow's milk does not contain. Support your toddler's growth and complement their diet with ENFAGROW.
Welcome back to this evening's Sportscast, sponsored by MacCorp.
When you're looking for superior aftermarket parts, where do you get the reliability and convenience to reduce downtime? The answer is Yellowmark, repair and replacement parts from Caterpillar, that is available only at MacCorp. Yellowmark was developed by Caterpillar, unlike cheap off-the-shelf aftermarket parts. At MacCorp, we will offer you helpful advice on identifying, finding, and installing the right Yellowmark part for your operation.
Yellowmark, for reliability and convenience at a lower cost.
Available